Tom had been in the surgeon's office for 5 minutes, and, like a good husband, he was working hard to keep his focus on Carol and nothing else. But while Carol blew her nose and took a few moments to compose herself, he was able to relax his concentration and begin to see the room clearly for the first time. Right off, he noticed the shelves behind the doctor's desk were filled with the standard array of medical texts and a series of photographs. As he studied the photographs more closely, it dawned on him that the pictures had been taken of the doctor on various golf excursions all over the world. In one picture, the doctor had his arm around Jack Nicklaus, and in another, he was with Hale Irwin. There were also golf trophies on the shelves, a lot of them. He jerked his head to the left and then to the right, performing a deft scan of the walls. Sure enough, to his left, there was a small, elegantly framed poster depicting the layout of the old course at St. Andrews. To the right, a sequence of glossy photographs exhibiting the glorious holes that made up Amen Corner at Augusta. Had Dr. Sullivan actually played there? On the desk, he spied an elegant ceramic bowl of golf tees and a small crystal cube encasing a golf ball autographed by none other than Arnold Palmer. Finally, Tom examined the medical man in front of him. He was a tall character that exuded charm, with an easy confidence, the kind that Marty had. A projection that made you feel whatever might be wrong with you, he would be able to fix you up in no time. And lastly, there was the healthy bronze of his skin. It had golfer written all over it. A thunderbolt exploded in Tom's mind. Holy shit, he thought, as the flash of light behind his eyes faded and the picture became clear. This guy is a player. Now, Carol, I want you to remain calm and stay positive. Chances are 99% that this is a benign tumor of some sort, a simple cyst. You have no family history of that sort of thing, and that is a good sign. Tom patted Carol's arm, an unconscious act of sympathy, but inside he heard the rattle of chains, and there was something clawing to get out. I've scheduled a surgical procedure for you tomorrow morning. We'll remove the growth and test it for malignancy then and there, while you're still on the table. If it's benign, which I think it probably is, I'll sew you back up and that'll be the end of it. If it's malignant, we'll excise additional tissue around the tumor and, in a few weeks, start you on a round of chemotherapy. At the mention of chemo, Carol sobbed and, turning to Tom, buried her face in his shoulder. Tom rubbed Carol's back and leaned his head into hers, but his eyes never left the surgeon's face. Dr. Sullivan didn't miss a beat. He glanced at his watch and continued. The surgical procedure is not very invasive, and you won't be under anesthesia for more than 2 hours. Another electrical synapse detonated in Tom's head. He actually saw stars, then heard or felt a snap behind his eyes as the beast inside him broke free of all restraints and flew to the surface. The doctor was talking about time, and time was just what Tom was looking for. With Carol's face conveniently tucked into his neck, Tom raised 4 fingers of his free hand and locked his glare directly into the surgeon's eyes, mouthing the words, "Can you make it 4?" It was a wild and dangerous gamble. A non-golfer would not remotely understand what he meant by waving those 4 fingers, and if by chance he did know, he most certainly would be appalled at anyone's desire to have his wife held under general anesthesia unnecessarily for an extra 2 hours. A non-golfer like that would most likely blow the whistle on Tom right then and there. But a player, a real player like this sharp-looking fellow in front of him, would grasp Tom's meaning instantly. He would be sympathetic. Tom held his breath, while Dr. Sullivan took a long moment to digest the meaning of his 4-fingered salute. Then, without the slightest change in expression, he mouthed the magic word. "Golf?" Tom lifted his left eyebrow half an inch. A professional man like this would require nothing more. The smile that creased the corners of the surgeon's mouth was almost imperceptible, but to Tom it was a beacon, the shining, full-toothed grin of a brother.